that makes it a little bit more, and it's a threat to the pitcher because the pitcher is also needing to pitch, but he has so much confidence that he can get to second that he's just expanding that space without asking permission. It's the without asking permission, going for it, because that's what he does best. And I don't know where you went, but
Oh, I'm here.
Heather?
I just wanted the YouTube to see that it was episode 17, and there I am. Hello.
Anyway,
So yeah, the pitcher, yes, it's going against the pitcher, but now the catcher's got to pay attention, right?
Yes, everybody, and suddenly everybody's in a little bit of a chaos, and it's a tense moment. And it also is for the runner, but the runner knows something. He knows that he's got everybody in a muddle, and he just uses that as his fuel. And then on top of that, I think it was Brad who said the guy on third has got to move because the guy on second has to move because the stealer is going to second.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a forced out,
which is not DIY.
No. And you got first base and third base coach sending over signals, right?
Oh, they're just, yeah, they're in high gear.
And it's all in anticipation. It's all in assuming they know what's going to happen. Right? So yeah, it's and one of the and here's the thing. My daddy always used to use this phrase. If a baseball team's not doing good, they don't fire the players, they fire the manager.
Right.
He's not even playing the game. But he's supposed to be getting them to work in perfect harmony to win. Harmony.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that was really, really cool. So today I didn't ask permission.
And who did you tick off?
I don't care.
I know. It's the key is that you're looking at the scoreboard, right?
And it's a freeing feeling to not be bound by worrying about picking off somebody.
It's only taken you what, 38 years?
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, twice that, but okay, fine. And yes, no, not quite. Yes, not quite.
But didn't it just take you a day?
It just took me a day. It took me today, and I remember having done that in my past, but anyway, it was cool. Thank you. It was very cool. And all sorts of stuff is coming at me, which is great and not so great. But you know what? It'll all sort out. I don't have to ask permission. I just have to steal base.
You get rewarded to run home.
Yes. And the crowd goes crazy.
I love it. Anyone else? This is a goofy hat. There. Who else? Anyone else? Any thoughts, comments, questions before we move on to the mind chemistry of cucumbers? Oh no, of economic power. Look like cucumbers with my glasses on because I can't read with my glasses. Okay, page 32. Let's see. Nope, we ain't getting chapter 1 yet. Seriously? This is awesome. I'm going to get to do a big dive into this. Anyways, so here we go. Little recap from episode 16. We may judge the future possibilities of mind chemistry by taking inventory of its past achievements, keeping in mind the fact that these achievements have been largely the result of accidental discovery and of chance groupings of minds, right? Because it's saying that we weren't intentionally setting up masterminds or awareness of the chemistry of the minds. We are approaching a time that when the professorate of universities will teach mind chemistry the same as other subjects are now taught. Meanwhile, study of the experimentation in connection with this subject opens vast vistas of possibilities for the individual student. Mind chemistry and economic power, starting of session 17. The mind chemistry, we are recording, right? Yep. The mind chemistry may be appropriately applied to the workaday of, isn't that a cool word? Workaday affairs of the economic and commercial world. That mind chemistry may be appropriately applied to the workaday affairs of the economic and commercial world is demonstrable is a demonstrable fact. Through the blending of two or more minds in spirit of dun 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 perfect harmony, the principle of mind chemistry may be made to develop sufficient power to enable the principle of may be made to develop sufficient power to enable the individuals whose minds have been thus blended to perform seemingly superhuman feats. Power is the force with which man achieves success in any undertaking. Power, not strength. Power in unlimited quantities may be enjoyed by any group of men or men and women who possess the wisdom with which to submerge their own personalities and their own immediate individual interests through the blending of their minds in a spirit of perfect harmony. God, these sentences are like dump truckloads of content. Power is the force with which man achieves success in any undertaking. Power in unlimited quantities may be enjoyed by any group of men or men and women who possess the wisdom with which to submerge their own personalities and their own immediate individual interests through the blending of their minds into the spirit of perfect harmony. Observe profitably the frequency with which the word harmony appears throughout this introduction. There can be no development of a mastermind where this element of perfect harmony does not exist. The individual units of the mind will not blend with individual units of another mind until the two minds have been aroused and warmed, as it were, with the spirit of perfect harmony of purpose. One more time, then we're going to discuss. That mind chemistry may be appropriately applied to the workaday affairs of the economic and commercial world is a demonstrable fact. Through the blending of two or more minds in a spirit of perfect harmony, the principle of mind chemistry may be made to develop sufficient power to enable the individuals whose minds have been thus blended to perform seemingly superhuman feats. Power is the force with which man achieves success in any undertaking. Power in unlimited quantities may be enjoyed by any group of men or women who possess the wisdom with which to submerge their own personalities and their own immediate individual interests through the blending of their minds in the spirit of perfect harmony. Who wants to take a stab at it? What does that mean to you? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you understand? What do you grasp? What do you comprehend? What is showing up?
Is there a definition of power in this respect?
Yeah. Is there a definition of power where? What was the question? Does it give us a
definition of power that you're talking about? Because, so often the word power has negative connotations. And I think about the book, what is it? Power versus Force.
Yep.
Where, force is a limited, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. That force has limits on it, but power does not.
Right. Yes, there is and I'm trying to look for it now. The starting point from which we shall undertake to ascertain how to develop and apply the law of power. Molecules, okay, power. Here it is. Page 18 in the blue book. It says, the purpose of these 15 laws is to develop or help to organize all of the knowledge you have and all you acquire in the future, so you may turn this knowledge into power. And then below that, it says, power is one of three basic of human endeavors. Power is of two classes: that which is developed through the coordination of natural, physical laws, and that which is developed by organizing and classifying knowledge. Power growing out of organized knowledge is more important because it places in man's possession a tool with which he may transform, redirect, and to some extent harness the use of the other form of power. So one is the organization. The second, growing out of organized knowledge. So power comes in two classes: that which is developed through the coordination of natural physical laws, and that which is developed by organizing and classifying knowledge. We clear on that?
Yes.
Okay. Power growing out of organized knowledge, right? The second part. So the first one is using the natural laws. Does that make sense? And part two is knowledge through gaining knowledge through other people's experience, organized information, right? So here's what it says. Power growing out of organized knowledge is more important because it places in man's possession a tool which he may transform, redirect, and to some extent harness the use of the other form of power, aka the natural laws. So we understand how to now fly rockets because we understood gravity. Through the organized knowledge, I could go through Google and probably find out how to build a rocket engine. Because I can use that organized knowledge, I can use that to deal with the laws of the universe, the natural laws of the universe, gravity and force and action versus reaction, and use it to fly the sheep around the farm. I probably won't do that, but I get to use the natural laws through the use of organized knowledge. Does that make sense? So you get to use,
Yes.
so you get to use the laws of healing because you've now organized knowledge about frequency and energy. So people come to you for that power. And you know how to use it. Are there people who get those things and never use it? It'd be ridiculous. They spend a whole bunch of money to never use it. But there's somebody that's got that thing sitting on their shelf. They've got a Rife machine they've never turned on. So they have the power, they have the organized knowledge, but they're not using it. They are not using it powerfully. Did that help, or did I make it as clear as mud?
No, it's good. That's
Okay,
good.
so now that you understand, or at least the description of how they define power in the book, what's your next question, or what's your next statement, or your next awareness, based upon
Well, it's, power in unlimited qualities or quantities may be enjoyed by any group of men or men and women who possess the wisdom with which to submerge their own personalities. I mean, it goes back to that definition and reiterating the fact that we can do some amazing things.
right? Somewhere in the Bible it says, when two are yoked, right, they become more powerful. Husband and wife are yoked at the blah 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 or something. When we hook ourselves up to the same yoke and pull on the same thing, perfect harmony, it's amazing what can be done. I want to say it's a Dutch, let's just say it's a Dutch draft horse. Can pull 8,000 pounds. One horse hooked up to a sled can pull, I think it's 5,000 pounds. If I hook two horses together, what would make sense? If now that's 1 horsepower, 5,000 pounds, what would 2 horsepower get me?
Well, I think it's 3 or 4 times what the individual can do.
It's like 25, right? 25,000 pounds.
Yeah.
We've heard about the rat that they put in the water, and after 15 minutes they drown. Y'all know this story? They put him in. The second time they put him in, and at about 11 minutes they took him out for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. How long do you think the rat swam for the second? Those rats who 15 minutes previously they drowned. At 13 and 14 minutes, they pulled them out for 2 minutes and then put them back in. How long do you think they swam for?
It was something like 60 hours.
Why? What was the rest of the story? What was their assumption? What was their theory? Why they kept going?
I'll be pulled out. There's hope.
So what happens when you understand all of this? And then you begin to apply it. Isn't this why your evidence list is so important? Because it gives you what?
It gives you hope. It gives you, the realization of what can be done.
So what if you now look at that evidence list as hope? Have you ever helped? I'm just speaking directly to you. Have you helped somebody get better?
Yes.
So where's your hope?
It's in the knowledge. It's in the power.
Could there be any reason for a delay if you have hope?
Any reason?
Yeah. For you to not move forward, to not do a live, to not do your trainings, to not do your...
No, there's no reason.
Okay. So
There's no
then
reason.
what is it that we forget?
We forget our power.
So what's the reminder for your power?
The evidence list.
Okay, so where's your evidence list at?
Mine is upstairs at my bedside.
Okay, can you make a copy of it and thumb through it before you sit with a client?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just
And this,
saying, if all of that is true and you know it is, and hearing it, it almost sounds goofy of why there's any struggle, doesn't it?
it does. It does. And I'm also thinking about the fact of clients that I should have had successful results with, but there was resistance on their part. You know, this is helping me to understand that we were not working in harmony.
So now the question becomes, can you be so overwhelmingly confident that their resistance subsides?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
Can you be so sure that because their fear is their new story?
Yes.
And can you be so overwhelmingly confident that they will live in harmony, they will live in peace in their new story?
That is an obstacle to overcome.
Isn't that it's isn't it crazy, the awareness of, wait a minute, yeah, but I know that I can only bring a horse to water. I understand, but what's the rest of that phrase for the personal development or the motivators? I can bring them, all I can do is bring them to water, but I can salt their oats and make them thirsty.
I've never heard that
Oh,
before.
you never heard that? Oh, I can only lead a horse to water. Yeah, but so you don't know how to salt their oats. If you salt their oats, they become thirsty. They will drink the water. You can lead them to water and they will drink it. You just have to learn how to salt their oats.
Wow.
Which is why if we start with our power, if we start with power, not strength, we start with our power, we can ask the questions. You can ask powerful questions. Demonstrating powerful strategies is kind of, for lack of a better word, injected values, enslaving them to do something they don't want to do, but asking them powerful questions. Do they really want what they want? Now, if they're not willing to adjust their identity, which is everything that every one of us does on at every different level, whether it's you ever smile at somebody and they give you the fake smile, you are so powerful that you force them to smile when they didn't even want to smile. But mirror neurons are powerful. Is it possible for somebody to say they're willing to make a change? Is it possible to make somebody do something they don't want to do? Yeah, it's called leverage. I hold a gun to somebody's head you love, you'll do anything. Most people won't go through a transformation for themselves unless they've been at death's doorstep. Something wildly, highly emotional. Diagnosed with cancer. I've got leukemia. I've got lymph. I got this. I got that. I got this. They will go through I'll do whatever it takes until I don't want to do, and I don't want to do that. We quickly forget. And this is for our own selves. And this is why we have to have our definite major purpose. We have to have our driving force, our reason, our burning desire. Chapter 1, Think and Grow Rich, burning desire. Questions, comments, thoughts? Make sense?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
good. Until the two minds have been aroused and warmed, as it were, with the spirit of perfect harmony of, now it added a new word in there, right? Perfect harmony of definite major purpose. Purpose. The moment two minds begin to take divergent roads of interest, the individual units of the mind separate, and the third element, known as the mastermind, which grew out of the friendly or harmonious alliance, will disintegrate. Did we already read, or I think we already read the part where it will disintegrate and the awareness will be lost? Okay, we already read that. I thought so. We now come to the study of some well-known men who have accumulated great power, also great fortunes, through the application of mind chemistry. Let us begin our study with three men who are known to be men of great achievement in their respective fields of economic, business, and professional endeavor. Their names are Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Harvey S. Firestone. Of the three, Henry Ford is by far the most powerful, having reference to economic and financial power. Mr. Ford is the most powerful man now living on Earth. Fourth grade education, I think he had. Many who have studied Mr. Ford believe him to be the most powerful man who have ever lived. Not quite. King Solomon had riches were in the trillions if we, I think, equate it to today's riches. We'll continue. As far as is known, Mr. Ford is the only man now living, or who ever lived, with sufficient power to outwit the money trust of the United States. Mr. Ford gathers millions of dollars with as great ease as a child fills a bucket with sand when playing on the beach. It has been said by those who were in position to know that Mr. Ford, if needed, could send out a call for money and gather $1 billion, $1,000 million, and have it available for use within 1 week. No one knows of Ford's achievements. No one who knows of Ford's achievements doubts this. Those who know him well know that he could do it with no more effort than the average man expends in raising the money with which to pay a month's house rent. He could get this money, if he needed, through the intelligent application of the principles on which this course is based. While Mr. Ford's new automobile was in the process of perfection in 1927, it is said that he received advanced orders with cash payments for more than 375,000 cars at an estimated price of $600 per car. That would amount to $225 million, which he received before a single car was delivered. Such is the power of confidence in Ford's ability. How much belief do people have in your confidence? That's my own handwritten note. Mr. Edison, as everyone knows, is a philosopher, scientist, and inventor. He is perhaps the keenest Bible student on earth, a student of nature's Bible, however, and not the myriads of man-made Bibles. Mr. Edison has such a keen insight into Mother Nature's Bible that he has harnessed and combined for the good of mankind more of nature's laws than any other person now living or who ever lived. It was he who brought together the point of a needle and a piece of revolving wax in such a way that vibration of the human voice may be recorded and reproduced through the modern talking machine. And it may be Edison who will eventually enable man to pick up and correctly interpret the vibrations of thought, which are now recorded in the boundless universe of ether, just as he had enabled man to record and reproduce the spoken word. It was Edison who first harnessed the lightning and made it serve as light for man's use through the aid of the incandescent electric light bulb. It was also Edison who gave the world the modern moving picture. These are but a few of his outstanding achievements. These modern miracles, which he performed, not by trickery, under the sham pretense of superhuman power, but in the very midst of the bright light of science, transcended all of the so-called miracles described in the man-made books of fiction. Mr. Firestone is a moving spirit in the great Firestone tire industry in Akron, Ohio. His industrial achievements are so well known wherever automobiles are used that no special comment on them seems necessary. All three of these men began their careers, business and professional, without capital and with but little schooling of the type usually referred to as education. All three men are now well educated. All three are wealthy. All three are powerful. Now let us inquire into the source of their wealth and power. Thus far, we have been dealing only with the effect. The true philosopher wishes to understand the cause of a given effect. So thus far, we've been dealing only with the effect. The true philosopher wishes to understand the cause of a given effect. We all good on that? Okay. It is a matter of general knowledge that Mr. Ford, Mr. Edison, and Mr. Firestone are close personal friends and who have been so for many years. That in former years, they were in a habit of going away to the woods once a year for a period of rest, meditation, and recuperation. But it is not generally known. It is a grave doubt if these three men themselves know it, that there exists between these three men a bond of harmony, which has caused their minds to become blended into a mastermind, which is the real source of the power of each. This mass mind, growing out of the coordination of the individual minds of Ford, Edison, and Firestone, has enabled these men to tune in on forces and sources of knowledge with which most men are to no extent familiar. If the student doubts either the principle of the effects here described, let him remember that more than half the theory here set forth is a known fact. For example, it is known that these three men have great power. It is known that they are wealthy. It is known that they began without capital and with but little schooling. It is known that they form periodic mind contacts. It is known that they are harmonious and friendly. It is known that their achievements are so outstanding as to make it impossible to compare their achievements with those of other men in their respective fields of activity. All these effects are known to practically every schoolboy in the civilized world. Therefore, there can be no dispute as far as the effects are concerned. So the effects are their wealth, right? All of the things that they have that you can see in the tangible world. One fact connected with the cause of these achievements of Edison, Ford, and Firestone, we may be sure, namely that these achievements were in no way based upon trickery, deceit, the supernatural, or so-called revelations, or any other form of unnatural law. These men do not possess a stock of legerdemain, whatever that is. They work with natural laws, laws which, for the most part, are well known to all economists and leaders in the field of science, with the possible exception of the law upon which chemistry of the mind is based. As yet, chemistry of the mind is not sufficiently developed to be classed by scientific men in their catalogs of known laws. A mastermind may be created by any group of people who will coordinate their minds in a spirit of perfect harmony. This group may consist of any number of from 2 upward. Best results appear available from the blending of 6 or 7 minds. When 2 or more people harmonize their minds and produce the effect known as a mastermind, listen carefully, each person in the group becomes vested with the power to contact with and gather knowledge through the subconscious minds of all the other members of the group. This is written in the 30s and they're speaking blasphemy like this. Does that, I mean, could you imagine how they had to change the language on this to make this acceptable? The group may consist of any number from 2 upward. Best results appear available when blending 6 or 7 minds. When 2 or more people harmonize their minds and produce the effect known as a mastermind, each person in the group becomes vested with the power to contact with and gather knowledge through the subconscious minds of all the other members of the group. The power becomes immediately noticeable, having the effect of stimulating the mind to a higher rate of vibration, and otherwise evidencing itself in the form of a more vivid imagination and the consciousness of what appears to be a 6th sense. It is through this 6th sense that new ideas will flash into the mind, the voluntary visitors. These ideas take on the nature and form of the subject dominating the mind of the individual. The poor will get poorer and the rich will get richer. The minds dominating the mind of if the entire group has met for the purpose of discussing a given subject, ideas concerning that subject will come pouring into the minds of all present, as if an outside influence were dictating them. The minds of those participating in the mastermind become as magnets, attracting ideas, and through stimuli of the most highly organized and practical nature, from no one knows where. We're going to put a little pause right there. Thoughts, comments? That's a lot of stuff. I think it's maybe Jim Rohn said, show me who you hang around with and I'll tell you what's in your bank account.
Well, and I think it's interesting where it says that the best results appear available from the blending of 6 or 7 minds. And then you bring up about the people that you are around, and what is it? They say the
Average of
5
5.
people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Funny how, as you become aware, the evidence has always been there, huh?
That whole awareness thing.
That and a bag of chips. Thoughts, comments, takeaways. What'd you learn? What'd you like?
Well, I learned a new definition of power, or revisited the definition of power. And again, revisiting my own evidence of success. And what was it you said that you had written in the margin, something about your own confidence or other people's confidence in you?
It's about previous page. So it said, while Mr. Ford's new automobile was in the process of perfection from 1927, it is said that he received advance orders with cash payments for more than 375,000 cars at $600 a piece, which estimated to $225 million he received before a single car was delivered. Such is the power of confidence of Ford's ability. So what I wrote in the margin is how much belief do people have in your confidence? Such is the power of confidence of Ford's ability. How much do people believe, have confidence in your abilities?
Yeah, that's what I wrote, confidence in my ability to deliver.
Yep. And how does that come across? How do they get to, where do they get to determine, what determines their level of confidence in your ability?
Consistency.
Say again?
Consistency. The consistency of
Well,
your.
Jim Rohn said, you motivate an idiot, you get a motivated idiot. You're a consistent idiot.
Okay, good point.
All right. It's
Yeah.
not consistency. It can be, that's a significant part of it, but do you show up confidently enough, consistently enough?
Right.
Right? There's people who say, well, I did 50 videos. I did 50 days of videos. Wallace D. Waddles, it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way. Can you muster your confidence? Can you become sure? Would you consider yourself county best? City best? State best? I sat with a man this weekend at breakfast and I said, east of the Mississippi, you won't find anybody who can do what I do. West of the Mississippi, they haven't been born yet. I said, there is no one you will come across that can do what I do sitting here with you. He's like, I believe that. Like, good. Stop telling people your problems. Nobody cares. And that's the point where I said that now that echo goes out, now that bell ringing goes on forever. Oh, did you hear about so-and-so and they're this, that, and the other? I said, and you wonder why you struggled. You wonder why anybody has a hard time getting out of jail. This psychological jail they put themselves in. I said, there's no reason for that. It doesn't serve anybody to. Nobody needs to know your pain. Secondly, they don't care, and now you got to deal with them. You're embarrassed to tell them. Don't even tell them. How's it going? Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins. So the consistency of being confident. It may come off as cocky. There's people that their confidence makes them look like they're cocky and arrogant. And they probably can deliver. But there has to be such a belief. Listen, hey, I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do here, but I know that within a 300-mile radius or 500-mile radius, you're not going to find anybody who can do it any better. They might be able to do it as well, but you haven't found them yet. You're sitting here with me right now. So the question is are you willing to get well? If you ask them that question flat out, are you willing to get well? Yes or no? Well, what does that mean? Let me say it a different way. Are you willing to get well? Is wellness in your future? I sure hope so. That's why I'm here. Are you willing to transform? Are you willing to say you're a healthy person? Great. If you start to do things that are unhealthy, is it okay if I remind you? It's your wagon you're falling off, not mine. I'll be the bumpers. Do I need to put bumpers on your wellness wagon? That makes sense? There's two ways that we can go from this point. We can either get better or we can get worse. Which do you want? That's for anybody. You can either have more of what you want or less or more of what you don't. Which did you choose? More of what I want. Awesome. When's the last time you had more of what you want? Been a while. So would it be fair to say you wouldn't recognize it if it hit you in the head? That's my job, is to point out the things that work. That makes sense? And it's just simply about asking questions. Yes, I want to get well. Tell me what that looks like. I think I know what it looks like, but you ain't my wellness. You're your wellness. What does it look like?
And most people can't. Most people cannot. They can't go there.
Right. So you got to make them. If you did know, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would change? Well, I've been sick for 30 years. I know. So my guess is you want to be sick for another 30. No, I don't. Well, listen, we're going to have some arguments here. And the argument is that you've got to look at things. You got to change the way you look at things. So tell me what wellness looks like. Otherwise, there's no sense in getting started. Why spend $1,500 and you're going to wind up the same thing? Then I'm in trouble. I don't fail. I don't fail. My patients refuse to get well. And I'm not going to work with them anymore. It's going to be the hardest 8 weeks of your life, but it'll be worth it. When's the last time you did worth it work?
I actually said that to someone last week.
And what'd they say?
They said they were ready. We'll see. They're supposed to start next week.
So you got a confirmation yes, right? The 3 yeses: counterfeit, confirmation, and commitment. And then there's the heinous one.
I got a confirmation.
Right. So the
Yeah.
confirmation yes. So did you ask him, what does that look like?
I did not.
Right. I know you didn't, because I heard you. Well, they're supposed to start this week. So let's play the confirmation yes. Say whatever they said. I'm ready to get started next week. You be the client who said it, and we'll role play.
Oh, I will call you next week to set up the time to start.
No, you won't.
Okay.
So tell me why you'd call me.
I'm sorry, tell you why I
Yeah.
called you
Why,
now?
you said tell me why you're going to call me next week.
To set up the time to get started.
Get started to do what?
To start my program.
To do what? To achieve what?
To detox
And why would you want to detox?
so that I'll feel better.
So you want to wait till next week to start feeling better?
Apparently so.
Okay. So that means you're not gonna want to do it. Tell me, is it a financial reason why you want to delay? Because you just told me you need to detox and you want to do that, but you're gonna put it off next week. Is there some things that could happen between now and next week that could pull you back into your old story and go, yeah, that's probably not gonna work.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're having a conversation you've never had before right now, aren't we?
Yes.
Which means there's a good chance you'll have results you've never had before either, right? So tell me why you want to start next week.
Yes.
Well, it's money wise. Then I don't care. Let's start now. If you're going to pay me next week, let's start now. There's no reason for you to wait to get healthy. Can you think of a good reason that you should be in pain for one more week? Then can we get started now? And I'm okay with the money coming next week, but I don't want to, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you delay your wellness. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to start now. I have the capability and the capacity and the knowledge and the experience to start today. I don't need to get better till next week to start to help you. Can I help you today?
Yes.
Okay. And so is it okay if we figure out the rest of it? But are you okay with getting help today? Because if you are, then we need to start today. Can I put you on the program right now? I haven't asked you for a check. You said you're going to pay me next week, right? That's what you said you want to get started?
Yes.
Or is this whole thing just a ruse? You're not even serious about it. Because if you're serious about it, I'm serious about it. I'm not worried about the money. I need you well today. Can we start today?
Yes.
Okay, good. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write out why you want to get healthy. And when we meet next week, you're going to give me this list of why you're going to get healthy. You're going to tell me the 17 reasons why you want your wellness back. I want you to dream. And if you don't show up with that next Wednesday, we're not getting started. You see, nobody's had this conversation with you. They've waited till you paid them to get started. If you're serious about it, I'm serious about it. This is falling off a log for me, but it's life-changing for you. I just need to know if you're ready to have your life transformed the way you want it, not the way I want it. I don't need money to get started to help you get well. Do you need to pay me to start to get well? Not today. But next Wednesday comes and you don't show up, who's going to suffer, me or you? You think, oh, I didn't spend money with her. I just gave you a life-changing task. I gave you a life-changing piece of homework that will change your life from now until forever. The challenge is that when you say you finally decide you want to get healthy, you ain't got nobody around that knows how to get you healthy like I do. So I can give you all of the tools. You just need me to help you manipulate them. Are you ready?
Sign me up. Let's go.
What'd you learn? What'd you like in that?
Yeah, this is a level of questioning that I mean, I've done some of this, but I have not taken it to the level that you just did.
not about doing certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have the skill to do it. It's okay for you to own your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All I want is I want a commitment. I don't want a counterfeit. I don't want a confirmation. Oh, on next Wednesday. That's a bunch of baloney. I only help people get started on days that end in a Y. Are you ready? But see, I have that confidence because I've been kicked in the shins 1,001 times. I didn't own my energy. I didn't want to be pushy. I'm not being pushy. You said you wanted to detox and get healthy. Why would you wait till next week? Tell me why what's a good reason to wait for next week for you to get healthy? Because we can start today. Well, I need to check my finances. I didn't even ask you for money. If I help you get well and you see progress, you'll be happy to pay the fee, won't you? Yes. Then shouldn't we start now? Shouldn't you? Wouldn't it be neat if you could see me perform and produce results before you even send me $1? Wouldn't you have complete confidence that if I can do that in a week, if I can give you a level set of homework, success work between now and then that will transform the way we look at the progress we're going to do over the next 8 weeks, wouldn't you be more confident to write me a check on Wednesday? Why would we wait? Why would I wait? Why wouldn't you take advantage of what I'm willing to share with you? There's only one of two reasons. Either you're afraid or we ain't going to do it. Which is it? Afraid I can help you with, but if we ain't going to do it, there's no reason to move forward. Why don't put a thing on a calendar next Wednesday? I'll be upset. You'll be disappointed. And then we'll never talk to each other in the grocery store. I want to be able to talk to you in the grocery store. Let's not play games. This is your wellness. I can't imagine you waiting one more day. The fear is what happens when you start to get well. Are there people who speak about you in closed rooms? Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's still sick. I feel so bad. I don't want to ask her. I don't want to put any burden on her. What happens when you get well and they still don't ask you? That's got to change. And that's your identity. Part of this wellness program is helping you refix and retransform and re-put back together the identity that you once had of wellness. Maybe it was 40 years ago. You forgot what that looks like. This isn't just a protocol and a thing of do exercise and take these pills. This is about helping you rewire your entire body, your cellular level, your parasympathetic nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system, and to do all of these things so that you can show up in life the way that you want. I don't know why we'd wait till Wednesday. I'm okay with us exchanging puns on Wednesday, but shouldn't we start now? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome for that. When you know what you know and you know you are good at what you do. Listen, ain't nobody else gonna brag on you. If you ain't bragging on you, somebody wants to tell me, oh, well, you can't really 15 minutes, at 45 minutes, I can rewire somebody's life if they're ready, willing, and able. I can take the ready and make them willing. I can take the willing and make them able. I can do that in 45 minutes. I've been blessed with that skill. And you don't ever have to tell me about the wound. You just got to remember and say it's okay to heal it. And if you say it's okay to heal it, we can do that in 45 minutes. Done it hundreds of times. I'm so not even worried about it. In 12 minutes with a woman I never met on a call I've never was on before, she said in 15 years, nobody told me I could be part of my own healing. 15 years of therapy. Nobody, not one of those people told me I could be part of my own healing. She said, and you did in 12 minutes what they haven't been able to do in 15 years. I said, I'll send you my address. You can send me a check. You have to own your abilities and your skills. Now, some of you are trying to go be a Christian rock singer when all you know is rap. I mean, it's just, you got to stay in your lane, but you got to pick your lane. That's your definite major purpose. I'm like Ricky Gervais. Listen, this is the last year they're asking me to speak. They got me as the MC, right? I'm not sure, but I don't know. They keep asking. And so now if I show up differently, people would freak out. So own your space. Be like the guy from Saturday Night Live. I'm worth it and I'm good enough and I'm right looking in the mirror. And by golly, I'm worth it. Questions, thoughts, comments, takeaways. Okay. Enjoy your Monday evening. I wish you all well. I'm your head brain training, in your face, scrambling your brain misfit. I'll see y'all where?
At the next event.
At the next event.
I love it, love it, love it. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the morning. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sean.
You bet. Thank you.